Hello and welcome to the Sri Lanka Morning Show. Today we are joined by Dominic Ellis from Tomorrow Financial Solutions. Dominic will be talking to us about why it is beneficial for first home buyers to purchase property in regional Victoria. Dominic, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Sahini, for having me. It's always a pleasure to come onto the Sri Lanka Morning Show.
Now, Dominic, my first question to you. Tell us why it is beneficial for first homeowners to purchase properties in regional Victoria. There's got to be some attraction at the moment.
Yes, no, look, that is a perfect question because there are so many people asking that question. Hey, is there any attraction for me to actually go and purchase out in regional areas like Bendigo, Ballarat? And there actually is. Now, I do understand that when you are buying your first home, it can be quite daunting, and being able to find it at the right price is another factor of it as well. When you do get in those metro areas, it can be quite expensive. Just buying a block of land, for example, if you get in the areas of Narre Warren or even Officer Pakenham area, you're still looking at $300,000 plus for a good sized block of land. Now, when you are purchasing in the regional areas, because it is regional, you are the actual block size can be potentially bigger and the price can actually be cheaper. But what the government have actually decided to implement is saying, they've said, hey, look, we understand that there are people that want to buy their first home, and that that there is the market for the purchases. So they've said, along with the $10,000 first home owners grant, they're also offering a $10,000 regional grant as well, which means in hindsight, you're actually getting $20,000 to go towards your first home to be able to obviously build and set yourself up and establish your life as being a home owner, and having that a $20,000 grant there as well. Now, as you would know through the coronavirus pandemic of what we've been going through at the moment, the government have actually implemented another $25,000 home builder grant. So in hindsight, you're getting $10,000 for the first homeowners grant. You're getting another $10,000 for a regional grant, and then you're also getting another $25,000 from the homeowners grant. So $45,000 to be able to go towards your first home, and it's a grant. It's there to be used. It's there to be utilised towards the loan, and that $45,000 is a huge amount of money.
Absolutely, Dominic. That is a colossal amount of money.
It really is.
So other than that $45,000 grant, which is absolutely excellent, what are some of the other advantages for building regionally? Because I'm sure there are a lot of viewers out there who would be thinking to themselves, you know, ease of accessibility, public transport, you know, is there anything else out there that will entice buyers to perhaps make that move from metro to regional Victoria?
Look, perfect question. Obviously, with the coronavirus at the moment, we're actually finding that a lot of people have actually decided to, because they've been so used to working from home at the moment, to be able to get into their own home. They've actually, these people are actually saying, well, why don't we move out into regional areas so that we can, one, live in our own home, because we are going to be, we're working from home anyways. So if they're got the ability to adapt themselves to be able to work from home, the fact that they can move into their own home, pay their own mortgage, as well as obviously having the accessibility to work from home, it's definitely appealing to a lot of my clients, a lot of people that we've been speaking to within Melbourne, so that they can, even though they are, I guess, getting away from the New York concrete jungle of work and living in the city, to be able to move a little bit further out and have that backyard. And if they are planning on starting a family, to be able to have the enough space to be able to have 2 or 3 bedroom houses. But it also allows them to have a larger house because of obviously the fact that it can be a little bit cheaper to live in those areas.
Oh, definitely. Well, you have certainly got my creative juices flowing. Now, the question that comes to my mind, and I'm sure that this would be the same for many of our viewers, is regarding the eligibility criteria. So this all sounds fantastic,
Yes.
but Who is eligible?
Okay, so in hindsight, anybody that is buying their first home, whether you are a citizen or a permanent resident, you are eligible for this particular grant. Okay, so it's pretty much along with the $10,000 homeowner grant. So as long as you are essentially building a property or you are purchasing an established property, which is under 5 years old. Now there are a few terms and conditions to that area, which I'd be happy to go along with it later down the track. But as long as you meet the criteria, then you are any Australian resident, citizen is eligible for this particular grant. So if you are a resident and you are and a citizen, you can get up to $45,000 worth of grants at the moment.
Wow, Dominic, that is absolutely fantastic.
It is, and it's a really, really good opportunity for people who might not be able to afford something in the metro area to be able to go and actually live in their own home. And I think it's one of those things where it's the Australian dream to be able to own your own home. So this is a perfect opportunity to be able to do something like that.
Most definitely. I think it's so important that in this day and age people have options.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people get caught out in that rat race of renting.
Yes.
And owning your own home can sometimes become impossible. It can be overwhelming, especially when it comes to cost.
Yes, correct.
But I think that you've really kind of summed that up well, and you've made it seem very possible.
And then look, it's in another way is that it's especially good for like your doctors and your lawyers that need to perform their first few years of practice in regional areas. The fact that they can potentially go and they can live in their own home, and then after they do complete their first couple of years of practice, they can then rent it out, and then they can go to different options from there as well. So the fact that there are so many different options that you can do, it's perfect, and it gives me the I feel good inside knowing that I can help people, and anybody can help people to move into their own home.
Oh, that is fantastic. It's just marvellous. Thank you so much, Dominic, for joining us today.
My pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, that wraps up today's session of the Sri Lanka Morning Show. Join us next time for more tips and tricks. Thank you.